Let's throw our hands in the air as we soar through the sky.
Yatta!
We'll catch the sun with your hand in mine, and if we work as a team, everything will be fine.
Yeah!
Oh, it's Cure of the What Now?
Let's henshin and start the show!
Hello, fellow moviegoers! I hope you brought your popcorn for episode 36 of
Cure of the What Now? Special edition.
the only show where we know cherry blossoms are best viewed with friends. I'm your host, Kat, and I'm a goldfish. Don't worry, that's not relevant.
Fantastic. I'm Joel, but you're not supposed to know that because I'm wearing a mask. I'm a mysterious assassin who has the same color scheme as a character we saw go missing 10 minutes earlier in the movie.
Is that necklace the same necklace?
Shh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay, that's fair. I'm weirdly bulgy for some reason. I'm referring, of course, to the way the characters come out of the movie screen to get our help with the miracle lights. This was an odd movie.
Yes.
Joel, do we have any announcements this week?
I don't believe so. Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Excellent. In that case, let's go straight into our discussion question. We kind of workshopped this during the mic test, and we came up with what side spin-off character would you pitch to be central to the Tropical Rouge movie?
Yes.
And this doesn't have to be the movie that's about to come out. It could just be a pretend imaginary movie.
Yeah, the Tropical Rouge X Heal or Heart Catch movie has come out in Japan, but it is not available in America, so we haven't had a chance yet to watch it. We don't speak enough Japanese to be able to follow it. So we're talking about a solo movie that does not cross over with another movie. And usually these movies have some new character that is introduced that is kind of the central focus of the movie. So in that respect, I think the best thing to focus on would be someone who doesn't have any motivation. Someone who maybe once had impressive dreams, but then something tragic, quote-unquote tragic, happened. Like maybe they came in second place at the crayon eating festival or whatever. And Manatsu and the rest of the group have to try and help him get his groove back. And I assume him, because these series seem to really be fond of, like, the little brother archetype. But, I mean, it could be a girl, too.
Do you remember when there was a little werewolf boy in the Heart Catch movie?
Yes, I do.
That was awesome.
I think he's my favorite side character, actually, of all of these. Well, the Star Twinkle movie had an incredible character, but I don't know if that character really had much of a character. It felt more like a plot device, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. I think that these characters are strong based on the relationships they're able to form with the main character. So, like, Sabomi and Little Werewolf Boy having that brother-sister relationship was really cute. They tried to do the same thing in this movie with Ichika and Goldfish Girl, and we'll get into it, but I didn't feel like they accomplished it as well.
Sure.
So, my side character, I have two. One is a whale, and this whale has been trapped in a SeaWorld-esque park by the villains.
And was told by friends 50 years ago that they would come back and save them one day, but they haven't come back, and there's even a rumor that they've all died.
Exactly, yeah, okay. This whale is trapped, and this girl used to be best friends with the whale. She used to go out and she'd swim, and the whale would be like, boo, and she'd be like, hello, whale. And she is despondent because her whale friend has been captured. And so the Tropical Rouge people are going to pull a Free Willy style heisty business and free this whale and defeat the evil, who it turns out is trapping sea creatures to sap their motivation and the motivation of the people who come to view them.
Okay. That's incredible.
This has the added bonus of bringing in Manatsu's mom as a marine biologist, because a lot of them are very unimpressed with companies like SeaWorld for good reasons. Aquariums serve important research and conservation purposes, but theme parks that rely on these animals don't necessarily. So,
the more you know. Now, you said you had two ideas.
No, I didn't. I said I had two characters. There's the girl and the whale.
Oh, okay. I got confused. Okay, so when I thought you had two ideas, I was thinking that they'd go in opposite directions. So I figured one would be like a cutesy character, and then I thought, what would be the opposite of that? What if we met a rambunctious boy, like constantly setting off fireworks, constantly doing pranks, just running around at top speed, more energy than Manatsu.
Oh my gosh.
And maybe he wants to be like king of the mermaids or something, or king of the seas. Oh my god, I just described Luffy. And so what if this person has so much energy that Manatsu has to try to get him to reel it back? And all of the like Asuka and Minoru can just be like, it's like a mini Manatsu. As this kid's running around graffitiing the walls and stuff.
That's fantastic. I love that.
So look forward to our solo movie that'll be premiering on YouTube, where we combine all of these character ideas into one misshapen monster of a movie.
We've got the fluffy cure, friends. I think we can film it.
Okay, perfect.
So this week we watched an episode of Futari Wa, an episode of Fresh, and the Kira PreCure a la mode movie. Joel, would you like to give me a succinct summary for the Kira movie?
Absolutely. So once again, the official title is PreCure Dream Stars. It is the first All-Stars movie that doesn't have All-Stars in the title, I believe, or it might be the second.
Yeah, this is when they stopped doing every single team that came before.
Exactly. So the first couple of All-Star movies, it would literally be every team that has been in PreCure since Futari Wa. They realized that was too big of a roster, so they've, in recent years, started to scale it down, so you usually only get about 3 teams, or sometimes 2 teams in solo movies. This movie has the Kira girls, it has the Witchy girls, and it has the Go Princess girls. For the actual plot, it opens on a girl and her wolf thing running from some evil-looking bad guys. The wolf sacrifices herself. You find out later that it's a girl. I thought it was a boy the first time I saw him, but definitely feminine voice. But the wolf sacrifices herself so that the girl can escape. She has to find people that have the things on the 3 cards that she has. So one card has a cupcake. One has a key, and one has a jewel. And so eventually this girl figures out that she's looking for the Kira girls, represented by the cupcake, the Witchy girls represented by the jewel, and then the Go Princess girls represented by the key. She finds Ichika first, and she's like, oh wow, the Kira girls are pretty cool. They then split up so that the younger girls, that's Aoi, Ichika, and Himari, go to the magical world to find the Maho girls, and the 2 older girls, Akira and Yukari, go to the Noble Academy to find the princess girls. They all meet up, they realize that they're all PreCure, they decide to fight the bad guy, and then they fight the bad guy. Also, there's a scene where they bake, because of course, and there's a focus on sadness being a necessary part of life, which feeds into the feelings aspect of Kira. And they do get powered up transformation at the end of the movie, as happens in many of these movies. They get a tiny little Sakura blossom on their dress that represents that they're in the Sakura world.
Well, they also became 3D. That was part of the Sakura appearing on their dress.
Was it really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I did not notice.
Yeah, so when Sakura came to the PreCure world, she turned 2D, and then when they went with her back to her world, they all went 3D.
Yeah, but so they turned 3D by going into the Sakura world, and then they did their lesbian prayer circle, and they got the Sakura print on their dress. So the turning 3D was not part of the dress upgrade, I don't think.
I guess I misremembered. Lesbian prayer circle, huh, Joel?
Absolutely. Now, there's a couple of characters that are introduced in this movie, so before we go into whether we liked it and all this other stuff, let me just run down the characters really quick. The main girl is named Sakura. She is referred to as the bad guy's goldfish, and she has the colorations of a koi, like the Japanese fish, but she's not like a goldfish given human form, which I thought was going to be like a reveal at some point. Her best friend is Shizuku. Is she a fox or a wolf?
She's a fox. She's a kitsune.
Okay. She's a fox/kitsune who can talk. The bad guy is Karasu Tengu, or Crow Tengu. Karasu literally just means crow. We're going to call him Crow Tengu. That's how the subtitles on our version chose to label him. He's an Usopp-like villain, if you've ever seen One Piece, so he has a long nose, and he does a lot of laughing, and he's very dramatic.
He postures.
Mm-hmm, exactly. He has 3/4 minions. There's Red Dog and Yellow Dog, or Aka Inu and Ki Inu. They can combine into O-Ki, or Oh, I can't remember what it's called. I think it's Oinu, or Big Dog. And then there's a mysterious woman in a mask named Samadere who can't seem to attack the goldfish Sakura girl for some reason. Who knows what their connection is? And then also there's this mystical world where it's cherry blossoms all year round, I guess, that I call the Sakura dimension, and it's Sakura Gahara, which I believe is literally just Sakura Town as the translation, so very on the nose, this movie.
Absolutely. It's so funny to me because we watched the movies out of order, so when the witchy girls show up in the standalone movie, the Kira Kira girls go, "Oh, it's you guys again," and they know each other. But they know each other because they met in this movie. So this was their first meeting. I really loved Ichika looking like she was trying to kidnap Mofaroon, and Mirai getting very defensive and being like, they were trying to lure her away.
Yeah. The introduction of the various teams is wonderful. You have that iconic scene that you get in almost any crossover where at first they don't quite get along, but then they get along immediately. It's abbreviated because it's PreCure, but Akira looks like she's kind of like attacking Yui or like cornering her, and the princess girls are like, "What's going on here? Stranger danger?" And they're like, "No, no."
It's even better. So everyone thinks Akira's a man at first, right? And so they're like, "Why did you come to our school to try to pick up girls?" And Akira's like, "No, I just wanted her keys." And it was Aroma who went and got the princess girls to be like, "Somebody's trying to flirt with Yui and she looks really uncomfortable." So good for you, Aroma. You drank your respect women juice.
Absolutely.
Akira did not.
I do think that Akira acted a little out of character in order to create that conflict. The younger girls with Mofaroon, they just see this really cute teddy bear and they just pick her up to like say hi. And then Mirai assumes the worst, which is an interesting, conclusion for her to reach. But Akira just like straight up like corners Yui, does the hand on the wall, like the slam thing, and like that to a lot of people would come across as, kind of threatening.
Well, and the scene in context made a lot less sense to me than what I thought the scene was about when I saw glimpses of it in the
previews and the
previews and the opening. Because what I thought happened was Yui walked by, Yukari tried to say something to her, Yui ignored her, and Akira cornered her as a why are you ignoring my girlfriend? Which would have made a lot more sense for Akira than just, oh, I need those keys. I'm going to go threaten this girl.
Yes, absolutely. So, did you like this movie?
I did. I had fun with this movie. I laughed at a lot of the jokes. I don't think it was a good movie.
Okay.
The plot was kind of loosely constructed, and once again, the other girls were just sort of there. And yeah. I would love a movie to spend more time on the dynamics between these teams and actually building them up to work together. There was kind of a subtle through line of these other PreCure are really good at working together and we're not good at working together. But there was never a time when they didn't work together. And so I thought that was kind of poorly done. I've seen it done better in other movies.
Absolutely.
I think the Star Twinkle movie actually did it a little better because it showed them actively screwing around and doing their own thing, if I remember.
Yeah, so at this point, you and I have not seen every movie in the franchise, but we've seen the first two, the original crossovers. One of them has the Fresh girls in it. One of them has the Heartcatch girls in it. We've seen this one with the Kira Kira girls. And then we've also seen the one that was Star Twinkle, Hugto, and also Kira Kira. And I think the more I think about it, these movies are trying to do too much. Because you have to have a completely new character and a completely new villain. They have to be combative in some way. The person who is trying to escape or trying to fix the evils of the world usually has to have some kind of character interaction with whichever series has the focus. So in this movie, that's Kira Kira. And you have to have the current team meeting some of the previous teams. Usually there's some kind of a mix-up, and you have to have some kind of meet cute where they're all together as friends. And then you have to have the final conflict. It's just they need to simplify a little bit. I know that they probably make these movies such that you don't have to have seen every single episode. Like, they try to be, fairly like, if you know who the girls are, this movie will make sense. But you don't need to know exactly that at this point in the series, Julio had used the evil Kira rod. But I think if they did like a mini series leading up to the movie, like 2 or 3 episodes, that was just the current team meeting whichever teams they're going to be crossing over with. And then the movie doesn't have to focus on that meet cute. It can just focus on threat shows up, they lose to the threat, they learn a lesson, they beat the threat. And it would be much more streamlined at that point.
I think you're right. That would be better. I did have 2 scenes I wanted to call out really quick. One is when shenanigans ensue in the magical world, Ichika ends up accidentally taking off on a broom, and she knocks into Mirai and ends up with Mofaroon in her arms. Mm-hmm. They fall onto a clock tower, they crash onto the top of this clock tower, and Ichika's hanging on, and Mofaroon's hanging onto her hand, but she drops Mofaroon, so she turns and she kicks herself off the building to catch Mofaroon, and they could have just died. Somebody catches them, but they could have died.
Yeah, well, that scene's important because that's what convinces Mirai that they're good people, because Ichika was willing to, risk it all in order to save Mofaroon. But listen, that was suicidal almost. The how fast she was going, she didn't know that these people could use magic. Not really, she hadn't come to terms with that. And so I think they could have construed a scene that was slightly different, where maybe the, I can't remember what it's called, the Yokutsuba or whatever, shows up and maybe Ichika jumps in order to protect Mofaroon, which is exactly what Akira did with Yui, and that was much more believable.
Absolutely. But Joel, they say a hero's body will move without him even knowing he's decided to do it. That was another movie we saw recently that wasn't great. Anime movies are hard to do well.
This is not a My Hero Academia podcast.
Setting aside the My Hero Academia, there was one other scene that I really liked. It was when they were fighting the Zetsuborg, and they just kicked it, and Team Rocket blasted off again. No. They kicked it so hard it landed in the magical world.
That was, I can't remember if it was a kick. I think it might have been like a Mario 64 Bowser throw, because Flora caught the Zetsuborg's leg as it was about to attack Akira or something, and then she just chucks it, and it just goes flying. And you get Kirara, or Twinkle, she's transformed, but doing the, looking at the horizon, being like, wow, you really threw that far, and Flora's just like, it was so cute.
I love you, Cure Flora. Was it good to see our girls again?
It was great to see. Go Princess and Witchy are 2 of my favorite series, so it was great to see them all. It was great to see Ha-chan, because she's the secret 6th Cure, and so the fact that she was in this movie because it took place after that, so good, I loved it.
Absolutely. Well, and I forgot how hard the Go Princess transformation music goes. It's so good. It's almost Madoka-esque.
Not everything need be compared to Madoka,
but it is though. the haunting vocals, and fine, I'll cut that part out.
No, we'll leave it in. I'm just saying something doesn't have to be comparable to Madoka to be good, but it is good, and it has a certain connection to the spooky music that plays in Madoka every once in a while. I can see that.
Anyway, I like Madoka Magica.
Madoka Magica is good.
Madoka Magica is a treatise.
Now, I do want to point out, from what I remember, it feels like this movie has more jokes that you can tell are definitely jokes. Other series will have moments where, a character who trips a lot will trip, and you're like, haha, that's funny, that's what they do. Or a character who, I don't know, likes to act like a detective will act like a detective. They have character jokes. But this one has a couple of other ones. The red dog and the yellow dog show up in about 3 or 4 different scenes. And when it's finally time to march into the final dungeon and face the final boss, final confrontation time, the music starts playing. Da-da-da-da. But these dogs show up and they start talking. One of them's like, we thought we would surprise you. Were you surprised? And I can't remember. I don't think it was Ichika. I think it was Flora goes, I am surprised. And they're like, aha, our surprise trait. She goes, I'm surprised you can talk. And they're like, that's what surprises you?
And then Crow Tengu shows up and they say something and he's also like, you can talk?
It's so good. But no, the other part about that scene that's so good is these two, the red dog and the yellow dog, start like talking back and forth to each other like, you defeated us last time because we weren't trying, so this time we're going to give 100%. No, 120%. And while they're going on, it shows Flora. No, it's Magical and Twinkle kind of like doing this like, okay, hurry up, like tapping their arm, like looking at their watches, tapping their feet, being like, all right, hurry up. And so before the two dogs can finish talking, they just get kicked by Magical and Twinkle, who are like, can you please just hurry this up?
Yes, absolutely. I loved Flora's almost goblin energy in this movie.
Yes. No, I love it. Absolutely.
At one point, she gets hung up in a tree while the other girls are fighting, and she just, like, yells angry things.
Yeah, she's, like, smack talking, like, come here and fight me like a man, or whatever, that kind of stuff. So good.
Oh, I love you, Flora. I missed you. Do you have any other thoughts about this movie before we move on to Futari Wa and Fresh?
One, too many looking at the screen and asking people for help. Like, I guess I get it. These movies have always tried to, like, play with the fourth wall by giving you the miracle lights that you can wave in times of crisis or whatever. But this one actually has literal scenes where Sakura walks into the screen from the movie world and she looks directly at the theater goers. So it looks
like she's standing on stage, like it's all black behind her and she's got a spotlight on
Exactly, yeah. And she goes, can you please help me? And it's like Dora the Explorer where you have to be like, there it is. I don't think I like it from Sakura doing it. I don't like them asking the audience for help, but I did like the one scene of Crow Tengu being like, oh, did you think I was worried? As if the PreCure could defeat me. Oop, the camera's off a little, and he nudges it into place.
I always have to balance this with how would I have liked it if I were the target age demographic. And I think if I were 6 or 7 years old, I would have lost my entire mind. I would have been like, the PreCure is on the stage!
Okay, yeah, I get that. It's something that they've only done in this movie as far as I know. Maybe they do it in the next crossover movie. But I personally didn't like it myself. And I don't think that they should keep with the formula. I think there's a reason they got rid of it.
Yeah, that's fair. Was there a crossover movie for Witchy? I remember we watched the standalone movie.
I could not tell you.
Okay.
I'm almost positive that every season has had a crossover movie, except maybe Healin' Good because of the pandemic that happened. But every year that they've been able to produce one since, I think like the 4th or 5th season, they've done so.
Okay. Good to know.
And all right.
We did watch Futari Wa this week.
We are not playing our fun little game, although maybe we'll do that next week where I watch the episode and Kat won't. We'll surprise you when you come to
when you come to our table. Yeah, so Futari Wa was weird this week. And halfway through the episode, I go, Joel, it feels like we're getting plot, but it feels the most like filler. Like, the plot seems to be moving forward, but it feels like filler. But then at the end of the episode, we found out the plot actually didn't move forward at all, and nothing that happened in this episode mattered. So the basic sentence summary that Joel has is, the Stonekeeper almost escapes, but then he doesn't. And that's literally it. That's the whole episode.
Okay, now, first off, we just finished watching episode 36 of Futari Wa, just in case anyone is losing track at home. Dang it, with Tropical Rouge taking a break, we're now going to be one off. So we're going to watch one episode more of Futari Wa than the other one. That's okay.
We could just take a break next week.
I have heard rumors, and I don't know how much they've been confirmed, but like, we supposedly know when the next season's going to start, and there's not enough time to get 49 episodes of Tropical Rouge, so we're going to get ahead anyways.
The numbers are going to be off anyways, that's fine.
But anyways, in episode 36, they introduce Zakena butlers / maids at the mansion where they're being captured, and the Stonekeeper eventually manages to escape out of his cage, and he makes a telepathic link to Polun, and Polun's like, we gotta go save him. They go to save him, but then the butlers get the Stonekeeper while they're fighting the bad guy. And I would disagree that nothing happened in this episode, because I suspect that now that they know the bad guys are in a mansion, maybe they could potentially use that to try to save the day. But yeah, Futari Wa suffers in the later half, and I actually found out from the pre-cord server that Futari Wa was supposed to end at episode like 24, 26, whenever it was that they defeated Dark King. And then it was so popular, they're like, let's just pull another half season out of our butts. And that's why nothing here makes any sense and is so bad.
Gotcha. The points are made up and don't matter, essentially. So I wonder if that means Futari Wa PreCure Max Heart is going to be better than the second half of this season because, like, it'll be a planned season.
Maybe.
So I'll look forward to that. I have had at least one person tell me Max Heart is their favorite season of PreCure. So.
Absolutely. We're going to watch it, but I think that once they've gotten... How do I say this? I think the relationship between Nagisa and Honoka is fairly strong, and there's moments where it shines very brightly, but not every episode is about their relationship, whereas later seasons, even the ones that only have two characters, they still have a strong back and forth with each other. They have stronger background characters, for example. So I'm going to watch Futari Wa, but it will always remain the vegetables, and I highly doubt I'll ever go back and rewatch anything other than the opening and closings, because those are fantastic.
That's true. Well, and eventually, once we make it through Max Heart, we'll be on to Yes PreCure 5.
Slash Star will be after that. Slash Star
eventually we'll be on to Yes PreCure 5. So we have that to look forward to.
Yes.
Why are you trying to hurt me?
I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm just letting you know. We're watching them in order.
Trying to cause me pain. No, it's fine.
Just remember, it's very easy to remember. Yes PreCure 5 is the 4th season.
You're not salty, are you?
I'm not angry about that at all. That's not a silly gimmick. Why not have it be Yes PreCure 4 and then the next season be 5 Go Go?
Oh, man. Yeah, it's just funny that Yes PreCure 5 was the only one that got a sequel season, and if they had just shifted it slightly, then it could have been season 5 and season 6 instead of 4 and 5 for some reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have anything else to say about Futari Wa? I liked the Zakena butlers. I would like more of them.
At one point, Stonekeeper says, like, farewell, you pair of comedians, because they are very much like the odd couple, where one is always trying to clean and the other one's always getting things dirty. I liked that. That was kind of cute. I just want more...
Substance
and more, like, comedy, more characters playing off of each other. The big conflict in this episode, the one that the characters have to solve themselves, is that Meppel and Polun don't get along because Polun is a little baby and Meppel is a grown guy.
No, it's more like Meppel and Mipple disagree on the best way to raise a child.
Okay, I guess that's true. But it feels like a rehash of something that we've already seen.
Yeah, I would say so too. And, you know, we could set these characters up for growth, but I haven't seen any yet. I do feel like Futari Wa would be stronger if, like Tropical Rouge, it just focused on having a goofy good time.
Absolutely, for sure.
Like the episode where they went chestnut picking and she had to figure out how to reject the boy was, I think, one of my favorite episodes this season.
Absolutely. Or the episode where the dog could talk. That was a pretty good episode, and the dog could talk.
The dog could talk! Yukari's a cat for a while! Moving on to Fresh, which I still think is one of my favorite seasons so far, because it has Momozono Love. No other season has Momozono Love. What did you think of this episode?
So we watched Fresh episode 24 for this week's episode, and I want to say, in the past couple of weeks when we've talked about Fresh, kind of offhandly, it wasn't the focus, we were able to avoid a specific spoiler. However, now that we're going to be going more in depth, if you don't want to be spoiled on Fresh and you haven't seen Fresh, we are going to be talking about the identity of the 6th Ranger. So we have timestamps in the description. Feel free to use them, or just watch Fresh because it's a great season. Episode 24 focuses on Setsuna's relationship with the world and her happiness and how Labyrinth kind of treats its people. It's hinted at, but they don't directly say it, but it looks like the people of Labyrinth are robots of some sort, and their city looks like a giant microchip. So there's some societal commentary there. Seems like maybe they're mass-produced or something. But now that Setsuna has run away from them, she doesn't know how to be part of this new world she finds herself in, and Momozona Love is like, oh my gosh, what if she's feeling lonely? I got it, we'll take her out to dinner, because I guess once a month they have a family tradition of going out to eat somewhere, and Love drags Setsuna along. Setsuna realizes she likes liking things, and she likes smiling, and that Love is actually pretty nice. She fights Westar, is the stupid one, right? And
Yes.
he's the boneheaded one.
He's my baby, okay?
I love him.
This was going to be big Westar appreciation hours, and you're jumping in here with they fight the stupid one. Yes, they fight Westar.
He is the stupid one, though. That's the thing. He's the best one, but he's also canonically...
This is a strengths-based podcast. He's the strong one. The other one is the thoughtful
dandy
one.
Always putting too much sugar in his tea. So Setsuna fights Westar because she realizes that this guy is being a big old meanie pants. And that's it. The episode ends with Setsuna basically embracing her human life, and she's now going to live with Love, which will be very convenient for all of their dirty hand-holding rituals. And yeah, that's it.
The big conflict here, which I think is relatable for a lot of people, is Setsuna feels like her past is so marred by her actions that she doesn't deserve happiness now. So how can she move forward? How can she exist in this world where people are pursuing their own happiness when she doesn't deserve that? And Love and her mom are kind of like, no, it's okay. We all make mistakes, but this is a beautiful world and you should get to enjoy it alongside everybody else.
We've all attacked people with evil monsters conjured from our hearts out of a sense of loyalty to this tyrannical, oppressive system.
If Jeff Bezos asked one of his employees to steal the happiness from the world, I think some of them would do it. You know, the bonuses are good.
Absolutely.
We also got a new attack from Setsuna / Cure Passion. She got her harp.
Yes, I don't remember what it was called. I didn't write it down, but she just kind of conjured this attack out of nowhere, but it was pretty cool, and it did make me want to buy their toy.
Absolutely. I will buy your toys, Toei. Thank you. I love that Westar went, Issa's a PreCure now. That can't be right. I'm going to go get her. And he goes and he's like, hey, look at all this glorious destruction. Look at the sadness. Isn't this awesome? And she's like, no, man. No, that's not cool. And he's like, come on. You want to be my buddy again, right? No. Ah!
Oh, my goodness.
He missed his friend.
I would love a season where they redeem Westar. And I mean, maybe they do, right? Because he seems to be the most attached to Setsuna, but I just don't see that happening. I feel like you get one redemption arc and it was spent on her.
I'm wondering if we're finally going to get North, or if they're going to save that until they've defeated Solar and Westar.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess he is Solar. I couldn't remember what his name was, the other guy. So, yeah. Can we guess what the next episode's going to be about? How long?
Setsuna enrolls in school.
Oh, I mean, maybe. How long until Setsuna joins their dance troupe? Or is she just going to be like their number one cheerleader?
Oh, that's a really good question, because Miki explicitly was like, my dance moves are all for 3 people.
Exactly, yeah. So, who knows? Maybe it'll turn out that Setsuna has a passion for dancing.
A passion?
I love it. Or maybe she will do something else. Like, she could be like, she goes to all their shows and she cheers them on. She could be like their choreographer. She could be their manager who books them like, positions. Maybe she just goes off and does her own thing. Maybe she becomes a harpist, you know?
Maybe she is in charge of merch, and so she has like a shirt with Love's face on it. She's waving the little flags in the front row.
I love that. Bzzzt. Hello there, this is Editor Joel coming in from the future! I realized that we did not say how many episodes of Fresh PreCure we'll be watching for next week's episode. I think we'll be watching 2 episodes, episode 25 and 26 of Fresh PreCure. So if you're watching along at home, be sure to watch those before you listen to our next episode. Have a great day.
We didn't really have any tweets in a bottle or Tropica thoughts this week. Except that one welder guy saying, oh no, no Tropical Rouge. To which we say, indeed, oh no, it was very sad. Did you have anything from any of your PreCure Discords or Reddit or anything?
Not particularly. It does look like we have episodes planned for until February when this series will end and then the next one will start. And so I don't think we have any more break weeks. If we do get any break weeks, maybe we will save the movie, the Heartcatch X Tropical Rouge movie. If the break happens after that movie is available to us, we'll use that as filler. If not, I'm not sure what we'll do. Maybe we'll watch a couple of episodes of some other series and have that be the focus of the episode. I'm really excited to start Sweet, but I don't want to have 8 series going at once.
Absolutely. That would be a little much even for us. What is the title for episode 37 of Tropical Rouge? Or 36?
37. Wait.
Because we're skipping a week, so next week will be 36.
Yeah. Episode 36 title is We're Here, the Mermaid Kingdom Grand Ocean.
So that's exciting. Do you have any sort of crack theories or realistic speculation? I think, did we do this last week for this episode?
I feel like we did.
Okay.
Yeah. That must be why the scratch pad says 37, because I must have updated it waiting for the next episode that we watch when they would reveal it.
Gotcha. Well, in that case, here's a crack theory for you. Manatsu, empowered by the feeling of her werewolf costume, decides to wear it full time and discovers being a furry is harder than it looks.
I believe that you mean she wears it fur time.
Ah!
Now, I do have one thought that occurred to me. Someone has pointed out how many times we've had, like, body-switching shenanigans in Tropical Rouge. With Laura and Minori, obviously. They brought it back for the slideshow episode, if you want to call it that. I think we had another... Oh, and there was a little bit of body-switching in the Halloween episode when Manatsu tried to give people their motivation back and their personalities kind of switched. It seems weird that they would show that so frequently if it wasn't going to be relevant in some way. So this is just a possible idea, but who knows? What if the Witch of Delays suffered some kind of accident? Like, what if the bad guy switched places with the good guy? So the person that we've been seeing, who's like, bring me the motivation power, is actually a good character trying to get back, but who has had all of their motivation power stolen.
Oh, that could be really interesting. My other thought with, body switching shenanigans being constant, I've been joking about how Karun is secretly the queen for a while. But what if, actually?
They show up downstairs, they show up in the Grand Ocean, and the queen's just acting kind of funny?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
So that's what I'm expecting. But that has been your doot final thought. Outro goes here.
Thanks for listening, everyone, and don't forget to eat lots of mochi in the shape of your spirit animal.
PreCure. What a shining episode of Cure of the What Now. Thanks for being our Nakama.
Thank you as always for your support. If you could, very kindly be sure to like or share this with any of your friends. Let them know that we're always open to suggestions or thoughts about any particular episode.
And please take a moment to rate and review us on wherever you get our podcast from. Except for YouTube. You can't rate and review us on YouTube, but you can like and subscribe.
Absolutely. If you like what we're doing, even just a comment that says keep up the great work is always helpful for brightening our day.
Absolutely. Joel, where can our fine listeners find you if they want more of you?
Absolutely. The best way to get in touch with us is to go onto Twitter and find us at KOTWN_pod. That's where we're most active. But of course, we also have a Gmail. That's kingofthewhatpod@gmail.com.
You can also find me at Pirate Ghost Host.
She is much more prolific than I am, but not all of her content is necessarily about the podcast, whereas the other one tries to focus more on the show.
You like our sticker sheets? Joel's got sticker sheets for you. And that has been your Tropica outro.
Do-do-do-do. You'll be dancing with me today.